Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. So far, we've built web pages that basically just sit there. I mean, they look nice, but they don't really do much. Well, today we're changing that. We're crossing over from static pages to dynamic, interactive experiences by mastering HTML forms.
Think about your daily internet routine for a second. Every single time you log into Instagram, create a new account on Amazon, type a search into Google, or shoot off a message in a contact form, you are using an HTML form. They're literally the bridge between the user and the website. So today, you're going to learn exactly how to build these crucial interactive pipelines from absolute scratch.
Okay, let's look at our roadmap for today. 1. Introduction to HTML forms. 2. Text, emails, and passwords. 3. Making choices and selections. 4. Text areas and submitting. 5. Form validation and mistakes. And 6. The final practice challenge. Let's dive in.
Starting with Section 1, Introduction to HTML Forms.
So up until now, the HTML you've learned, stuff like images, links, tables, it only displays information. Forms are our solution for actually collecting it. And the whole thing starts right here with the form tag. You can think of this tag as a giant invisible container. It holds all your various input fields together. Without these opening and closing form tags wrapping your content, your user's data literally has nowhere to go. It's step 1, always.
Let's look at how we actually build inside that container. Check out this code. We have a label tag saying name, paired with an input tag where the type is set to text. Setting the type to text creates that blank box you see in the output right there. It's perfect for a single line of text, like a first name. Oh, and that label tag? Absolutely crucial. It programmatically links to the input. This helps screen readers understand what the box is for. And, fun fact, it lets you click the actual word name on the screen to automatically select the box. Pretty neat, right? Moving on to Section 2, Text, Emails, and Passwords.
Obviously, we don't just collect random text on the web. A lot of times, we need specific secure data. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how just a tiny change to our HTML completely transforms the user experience. By changing the input type from text to password, the browser automatically hides the characters as you type, turning them into those little dots we're all used to seeing. This exact piece of code is what powers the privacy on, say, your bank's login page.
Okay, quick question for you. If type text is for regular words and type password is for secret codes, which input type do you think we should use when we want to collect an email address? Think about how a browser might need to treat an email differently.
If you said type equals email, you hit the nail on the head. When you use this, the browser actually does some amazing heavy lifting for us. It automatically checks that the user included an @ symbol and a valid domain before it even allows the form to go through. So you get this built-in validation without having to write a single line of complex code. It's a massive time saver.
All right, Section 3, Making Choices and Selections.
Sometimes letting users type whatever they want is a terrible idea for your data. We want to guide them to pick from predefined options. Let's test your product designer instincts here. Imagine you're building a job application form, right? And you want users to list their programming skills, like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Should we use radio buttons or checkboxes for this, knowing they might need to pick multiple skills at the same time?
Here is the golden rule. You use checkboxes for multiple choices simultaneously, like picking all your coding skills. You use radio buttons when choices are mutually exclusive, meaning you can only pick one, like selecting your gender. They're actually named after the physical buttons on old car radios. You know, when you push one in, the other one pops out. Just remember, for radio buttons to actually work together as a group, they absolutely must share the exact same name attribute in your HTML code.
But hey, what if you have like 50 options? Say you're asking someone to pick their state or country during an Amazon checkout. 50 radio buttons taking up the whole screen would be a total design nightmare. That is where the drop-down menu swoops in to save the day. You use a select tag to create the menu, and then you nest individual option tags inside of it for each choice. As you can see in the output, it creates a super clean, clickable drop-down that saves a ton of space.
Section 4, Text Areas and Submitting.
So what about longer messages? The crucial point here is understanding the structural difference between our tags. If you need a name or a zip code, that single-line input text tag is your best friend. But if you want a user to write a detailed product review or leave a long feedback comment, you need the text area tag. Notice how it doesn't use the type attribute. Instead, it uses rows and cols, that's columns, to define a large multi-line box. Users can even grab the corner and stretch it out themselves.
And now, the engine of our entire form, the Submit button. When a user clicks this, the browser grabs all that data they just typed into the inputs, text areas, and checkboxes, bundles the whole shebang up, and pushes it forward to be processed by a server. The value attribute right there, that just dictates the actual text displayed on the button, so you can make it say register, log in, buy now, whatever you need for your site.
Section 5, Form Validation and Mistakes.
So we've built this great form, but let's be real. Users don't always fill things out perfectly on the first try. They skip fields, they forget things. We need safeguards. Let's test your intuition one more time. What do you think happens in the browser when we take a standard input tag and just add the word required inside of it?
Yep, it completely stops the form in its tracks. The required attribute is our very first line of defense in client-side validation. If a user tries to hit submit without filling out that specific mandatory box, the browser steps in, halts the submission, and flashes a "please fill out this field" warning. It guarantees we actually get the critical data we need.
And this brilliantly illustrates some common beginner pitfalls we definitely want to avoid. We've all been there. First, forgetting the form wrapper. If you do that, your submit button literally won't do anything. Second, using plain text for everything means you miss out on the browser's awesome automatic email and password handling. Third, missing your label tags makes your site completely inaccessible to screen readers, which is a big no-no. And finally, forgetting the required attribute means you'll end up with blank, totally useless form submissions. Definitely keep this checklist handy. And finally, Section 6, the final practice challenge. Okay, it is time to take all these individual building blocks and smash them together into a real-world project. Your challenge is to create a complete student registration form. I want you to code a name text field, an email field, a password field, radio buttons for gender, checkboxes for skills, a drop-down menu for their course selection, and finish it off with a submit button. And make sure to make those critical fields required. Seriously, pause this explainer right now, open up your code editor, and try building this yourself.
All right, let's do a fast-paced recap of the steps to conquer this form. Step 1, open your main form container. Step 2, lay down your labels paired with your basic text inputs. Step 3, lock down your security and formatting by changing those input types to email and password. Step 4, build out your choices using radio groups. Don't forget that shared name attribute, some checkboxes, and a select dropdown. And finally, Step 5, drop in your submit button and close that form tag. If you got anywhere close to this, congratulations, you just built a highly interactive web component.
You now know how to collect data efficiently and beautifully. But do you know how to architect the page itself? In our next explainer, we're diving into semantic HTML. You're going to graduate from basic tags and learn how professional developers structure web pages using meaningful tags like header, nav, article, and footer. So before you click away, ask yourself, is your code just functioning, or is it actually speaking the language of the browser? Keep practicing those forms, and